Hey everyone, and welcome to the All Elite Zone podcast on YouTube and Twitch and a bunch of other places. As you can see, I'm not Carly. Carly is still having some very bad ear problems and stuff, so I'm filling in till she's back. But we're here for the Dynamite review and Rampage ramp up from last night's Dynamite and ramping up Rampage tomorrow. So yeah, I got the card from each match went down in a segment. Uh, as you guys know, CM Punk, he did not vacate the title or relinquish it. There's an interim championship being crowned. And the first match was the Casino Battle Royal, basically the Double or Nothing style Battle Royal. It was very interesting, the Battle Royal.
Yeah, and I like how they did the casino style battle royale, not just a regular here's how many guys are in the ring and then throw them over the top rope. Done. I like that they brought the casino royal battle royal back, and they had all the suits come out, and then the wild card, the Joker, as you could say. And it was actually nice to see Andrade El Idolo back.
Yeah.
Him and Charlotte Flair just got married, so it was nice to see him come back and do that match and everything like that. So he was a good surprise to see there. But yeah, for the whole thing, I think the match was pretty well done. I think you got some good guys in there that deserve to be in that ring for that battle royal. And I was surprised that it ended up being Kyle O'Reilly being the one that won that match. So.
Yeah, I was not expecting Kyle O'Reilly to win that match. I was expecting I really didn't know who was going to win, but I was going for Andrade once he was a Joker. I would have thought the Joker would have been Kip Sabian or maybe even Miro, but then again, Miro was the surprise last week. But it was a very good battle royal. The last three I wouldn't have expected: Andrade, Kyle O'Reilly, and Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
It'd have been interesting if a Wheeler Yuta would have won that, and him and Moxley goes against each other again.
Right. I was half expected Andrade winning that as well. Once he was the surprise wild card at the end there. I've also would have loved to see Rey Fenix. I love what they're doing with him, pushing him in all these single matches since he's gotten back. Although it's just nice to see him in Death Triangle doing some stuff still too. So.
Yeah, they've been really pushing Kyle O'Reilly here lately. He had a good match against Samoa Joe. He beat Darby at Double or Nothing, won the Battle Royal, and almost beat John Moxley last night. I said that he deserves Wrestler of the Week of this week. Yeah. So Kyle O'Reilly won the Casino Battle Royal. He went against John Moxley in the main event, which we'll get back to at the main event of the show. The next segment was the All Atlantic Championship, which leads into the next match. AEW introduced a new championship, the AEW All Atlantic Championship. And they showed a bracket of the tournament, and it's basically each wrestler from different countries. They had Canada, the UK,
Belgium,
and then they're going to have a New Japan match there. But yeah, they had but the first qualifying match was Buddy Matthews and Pac. That was an amazing match. When we had Buddy Matthews on here, he said that the number one guy he always wanted to face in AEW was Pac, not Neville. Neville's a completely different guy.
Yeah.
He wants to go against Pac. I thought this was a very good match to start the tournament off.
Yeah, I think so too. I love that those two guys were the first ones and both representing good groups as the House of Black and Death Triangle. I think the story behind those two factions really continued with that match. I love that these two guys have two different styles of wrestling in them. Buddy Matthews, obviously a hard hitter wrestler when it comes to ring technique, throwing the punches, throwing the hands, throwing all that stuff. And then you got someone like, Pac, who's just a high flyer, and everything like that, adding all that, lucha libre, jumping around style of wrestling. I honestly thought that was probably, in my opinion, the match of the night. Just because of how brutal it was, how the story behind those two factions and those two guys going head to head, considering what happened at Double or Nothing with, House of Black getting that win with Julia Hart, jumping to the House of Black, which was a great turn. So I thoroughly thought that was match of the night, in my opinion, because those two guys just put it all out there.
Yeah, I thought that was definitely match of the night. I was like, once they announced it, I already knew that was going to be match of the night. But Pac did win this match with the Black Arrow. He advanced it into the tournament, but yeah, at Forbidden Door, they're going to crown the first champion in a fatal four-way. So the winners of each 4 matches will go on a fatal four-way at Forbidden Door. And there's one match in New Japan. They didn't say who the participants were, but someone from New Japan is going to be in that fatal four-way.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to these other matchups because another one you got is Malachi Black and Penta Oscura is going to be one matchup, and then Ethan Page and Miro, who just came back last week. Those are the other 2 matches in AEW.
I never thought I'd see Miro and Ethan Page.
Honestly, as a side note, I honestly want to see Ethan Page get a little bit of a push.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated. I think he would do wonders as a single competitor. So
yeah, I like him way better as a singles wrestler. Unless he's with Josh Alexander as the North. I was one of my favorite tag teams. But in AEW, I think he should be a singles wrestler. I think he could do a great heel character, being a champion on his own. He can talk for himself. He's proven that with his promos. But yeah, the rest of the tournament looks very good. I'm curious to see who wins the title at Forbidden Door.
I'm very curious, and it kind of threw me off because when they made the announcement of a new title being introduced, there's been articles, there's been stories, there's been reports of a possible trios title being introduced in AEW, especially with all those factions that are 3-man group, four groups, 4-man groups. That you can kind of do like the Freebird rule where, any 3 guys can hold those titles in the group. So I was highly expecting that, like a trios title. And I think Tony Khan himself might have mentioned that it was a dream of his to introduce a trios title, but another singles title like the All Atlantic title might be a little bit more of a help too, as well, to be introduced, especially with a loaded roster that AEW has.
Yeah, because Florida only had 4. Well, for the men's, you had, unless you were in a tag team, you had tag titles, the world, and some guys aren't going to win the world, and you got TNT. So another option for the men is very good. I think Tony Khan mentioned that trios titles have been made.
Yes.
Just a matter of when they actually announce them.
Right.
But that should be amazing. I already know who's going to be the finals, or it should be Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus the Undisputed Elite, Hangman. I mean, Adam Cole and the Red Dragon. That would be. I just pictured them being the 2 finals if they had a tournament.
I mean, obviously, I think another story coming out of that was Tony did say that he wanted to wait till Kenny came back to introduce those titles. So I can understand why. So
yeah, Pac won that match. The next match is Hangman Adam Page versus David Finley. For you guys, if you don't know who Dave Finley is, he's the son of Fit Finley. And he's with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Dave Finley is. This was a very good match. I was going for David Finley to win because I want New Japan to get some momentum going into that instead of AEW squashing all their people. But David Finley did not win this. Hangman won, but there was a surprise at the very end. Will Ospreay appeared on AEW with not sure who the other 2 guys were, but Will Ospreay made his AEW debut during this match.
I think you got that backwards, Connor.
Oh, I did?
Will Ospreay made his debut in that FTR and Trent segment. Yeah. This match actually, I could help you here. This match actually had a follow-up surprise of Hangman Page actually challenging Okada at Forbidden Door for the IWPG Heavyweight Championship, because he had mentioned on the microphone after the match, he said there's more than one championship, world championship in this company, and that's what he said. But then at the same time, Adam Cole, who was doing commentary during that match with Finley and Page, got up and said, I just won the Owen Hart tournament. You lost your title. I think I should face Okada at Forbidden Door. And this is interesting because it sets up an intriguing story at Forbidden Door with these two wrestlers, with Cole and Paige. You could see either because another thing is Cole dropped Jay White's name in his little promo there too. So this kind of opens up the door with, hey, could we see a triple threat match with Okada facing Paige and Cole, or do we see Cole face Okada and Paige face Jay White at Forbidden Door? So it opens a lot of doors for matchups at the pay-per-view, and I thought that was pretty cool. That's what opened up a little bit the storytelling to that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I got the two. I was really excited to say Will Ospreay.
I know you were. I saw it in your eyes. You're like, Will Ospreay. Trust me, I was surprised too when that happened. I was like, so.
But we got those two mixed up. But Hangman won that match. It was a very good match, I thought. I'm glad Hangman picked up the win. But at the same time, I wanted someone from New Japan. But I would say New Japan had a good night with Will Ospreay and with them.
I keep forgetting his name. Their group name, like something Empire or something like that.
The United Empire.
United Empire. That's what it was. Yeah. So all his crew there, because Jeff Cobb and whoever I keep forgetting the other guy's name, Cobb's partner, who came out last. Yeah, I think they're part of that group as well.
Yeah, I feel like they're the British version of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I forget. Someone said that last night, and I just picked off of it. But yeah, Hangman won that match. The next match is for the AEW Women's Championship. Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir. This match was last minute put together match. I feel like they showed a little video package of Thunder Rosa is basically calling out anyone. Then Marina Shafir just pops up saying, "I want a challenge," and there we go. There's a match. But
yeah.
Yeah,
that one kind of threw me off because, it seems like they're trying to get Saphir as much, ring and TV time as possible, because she had just wrestled Jade for the TBS title. And now she's going up against Thunder Rosa for the women's title. So I'm seeing that they're trying to push Saphir as much television time and match time as possible. I don't know if it's to combat the whole Ronda Rousey WWE stuff, with combating her getting much TV time going for championships as well, or it's just that they're really impressed with Marina Shafir as a progressor in the ring. I thought the match was okay. Probably not the best women's match I've seen. Obviously, Thunder retaining was no surprise, because I think they're setting her up for bigger, better pay-per-view matches, hence the post-match situation with Toni Storm coming down to help her when Marina was trying to beat her up, and Toni Storm kind of glancing at the title and then handing it to Thunder Rosa. So that's going to set up a nice little matchup between Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. So whether it's at what would be the next pay-per-view after Forbidden Door? Would that be
All Out?
All Out, yeah. So All Out maybe. I mean, because it's weird though, because to before you go on with the rest of the card, it's throwing me off because they mentioned there's not many female wrestlers a part of that New Japan Pro Wrestling, if any. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to do any female matches during the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Yeah, they would have to really use some of the Joshi wrestlers, or some of them that's not even in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like someone from Japan that may not be with the company.
Right.
That would just be really, really hard to do. I know fans are going to complain them women not be on the show, but it's hard since New Japan doesn't really have any women wrestlers in their company, really.
I mean, maybe I can ask you, maybe I can ask people that are watching this, is do you think, as an idea of, since he bought the company, you think he brings some Ring of Honor women on and they have like a match there? I mean, they can do that at Forbidden Door, because technically that's still kind of a Forbidden Door. AEW female wrestlers versus Ring of Honor female wrestlers. So I mean, they did push that.
Yeah, the event's not called AEW versus New Japan. It's called Forbidden Door. So Ring of Honor, there you go.
Could invade a little bit. So
I thought that pay-per-view should be called Forbidden Wars. But yeah, I thought Thunder Rosa and Marina Shafir was okay. It was a good match for Thunder Rosa to get some momentum. Marina Shafir, she's okay, in my opinion. I don't think she should have got a title shot since she lost against Jade Cargill.
Mhm.
If she lost against Jade Cargill, she's not going to beat Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good match. It was an okay match. Yeah, I'm glad Thunder Rosa retained. Then we move on to the main event, which is the winner from the first match, the Casino Battle Royal, Kyle O'Reilly versus Jon Moxley, to determine who's going to the Forbidden Door to face whoever in New Japan for the interim AEW Championship. This match was a very good match. I honestly thought Kyle O'Reilly was going to end up pulling it out. It was a very grueling match between Moxley and O'Reilly. It's hard to pick between this match and Matthews and Pac, but Moxley did win this one. Did he use the paradigm shift?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know there was a lot of submissions hold.
Yeah, at one point, O'Reilly had him in a submission hold, and Moxley just beat the hell out of him out of it, and then they just went toe to toe, and then out of nowhere, I think he got to the paradigm shift. But yeah, I agree with you. This was a very, very close second to the Pac and Matthews match to being match of the night. I think Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley actually matched well in the ring, surprisingly, because I haven't seen a lot of them. I haven't seen either one of them butt heads a lot in AEW recently until that match. So it was nice to see a new matchup.
I haven't seen them wrestle any I can remember in wrestling.
Yeah, no, and I can't even remember them back in their days when they were both in WWE. So I couldn't. Yeah, I don't think they crossed paths. But I can tell you that the way that they matched those two up in the main event, I thought was perfect. I think it's nice that Jon Moxley is getting a push to the interim. And I think a lot of people are excited to see if Mox wins that title Forbidden Door, to see a Moxley versus CM Punk match.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I mean, because you got to remember back when Mox was back in WWE under his Dean Ambrose persona, never wrestled CM Punk. I know they had interactions when he was with the Shield against Punk. I don't know if they wrestled against each other. Maybe they did. Maybe I forgot. I kind of pushed that time out of my mind.
I couldn't tell you either.
Yeah, but when Punk comes back, seeing him and Moxley, like Jon Moxley,
not
that persona wrestle at a match, I'm excited about that matchup. But I'm also intrigued on who's going to win at New Japan Dominion. Who's going to face
Moxley.
Because I mean, obviously they were pushing
Punk and
Tanahashi.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So I think plans change. But like you said, I think that match was great. It was a very close second to the Pac and Matthews match. But I still say Matthews and Pac were probably the match of the night. But with a close second of Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley. And I do love that they're pushing Kyle O'Reilly a lot in singles competition right now. I think that's good for him. So a lot of people don't know that he's a very talented guy, and he's very good at what he does, and he's very entertaining to watch. So
yeah, he's got the moveset, he's got the technical style down, he's got the kicks. He's got a little bit of all of it. He's got the character in him, got the good promos.
Yeah.
If I hate to say this, but he's the perfect wrestler. I know William Regal said that was Bryan Danielson, but I hope we don't hear that.
Right. And it was funny because I don't normally read the sheets, but read one saying that after the show that William Regal tried to shake Kyle O'Reilly's hand after the show to say he show respect. And Kyle O'Reilly just kind of nodded and walked away. Didn't really shake the hand, but I mean that was kind of a respect thing that I think is good, because I think out of those three guys between Red Dragon and Adam Cole, I think Kyle O'Reilly is the most underused guy. I think he's probably the most athletic guy out of that group, and he's just got there's something about him. Before he was released from the other company, I mean he was getting a push.
He signed a 5-year deal with AEW. The most anyone has signed that length of a time.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually like to see him be TNT champion or possibly world champion down the line.
Yes.
I totally think he could do it. This was just a test to see how he would go with a bigger opponent like Moxley, and it went well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it for that main event. Uh, they didn't show that on TV with William Regal.
No, it
Uh,
was after it went off.
yeah, lots of times they do some stuff when it goes off the air. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good Dynamite. I give it a 7. No, I'll give it 8 out of 10.
I give it with the appearances of New Japan guys, especially Will Ospreay, and United Empire on that with the FTR and Trent. I think that was really awesome. I because of that, because of the promoting of the New Japan AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view and just hyping it up. That match, that card last night had some ups, had some downs. I did like the Wardlow segment.
Yes.
I like what they're doing with him now that he's kind of, away from all that stuff, and now he's doing his own thing. So I like what they're setting up with him. So out of last night's show, between segments and all that, I'd give it an 8.5. So I give it maybe a 0.5 higher than you, just because I enjoyed some of the new storytelling they're doing, some of the promoting of the Forbidden Door, bringing the New Japan guys on and everything. So
the only things I did not like was some things in the Battle Royal. Okay, the object of the match is to throw your opponent over the top rope, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening. I'm going to go let the dog in, though.
When the match first started, they're like, I would say 2 minutes in, 2-3 minutes into the match, everyone's outside the ring. I get they were trying to show Lance Archer was showing his like everyone was scared of Archer, but
yeah,
and it's an over the top elimination. Darby Allin did a coffin drop over the top rope,
but he wasn't eliminated.
Yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like.
So here's another thing, and I don't know why. Some people may disagree with me, some may agree with me, but I'm starting to grow weary and tired of Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think she's a fantastic athlete. I think she's getting better and better. But right now, it's the same old wash, rinse, repeat kind of thing with her every week, with being interviewed by Tony, telling her, Tony, to cut the shit, every time. Like, I'm like, dude, you're going to do the same thing over and over and over. So what's really intriguing to me is, who do you build to go against Jade Cargill? Because obviously they're building someone to take that title off of her. And I think the right person right now to do that, because she's in her own thing, is Chris Statlander. She's been a day one person since they started that company, pretty much. And I think she deserves a run with a title. So
I got her winning it at All Out. I think Nyla Rose is number 1 in the rankings. I don't think she should go for the women, since Thunder Rose has already beaten her. So maybe Jaden Rose in the meantime. I know Athena and Jade Cargill's had a little feud, so maybe Athena will go for it. Yeah, I agree with you. I like Cargill, but there's a lot of stuff people doesn't want to realize, that sometimes in her matches she makes some simple mistakes. Like, I've seen how some people call her the most unsafe worker in AEW. I've seen where, like, how she does her finisher from the top rope against Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
She did her finisher, but she did it, I don't want to say wrong, or really too hard, and like Ruby Soho's head hit face first.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was another spot where she was trying to throw someone into the turnbuckle and ended up throwing them into the ropes. Could have done something bad. And then there was one time, like, she was getting pinned and it was a 2 count. And then 2 seconds later, after the 2 count, she kicks out. And then Jim Ross is trying to, he doesn't know really how to back that up, really. Like, how do you, but don't get me wrong, I like Jade Cargill, but there is some things that
her character's great. Her character, playing the whole, like, I'm better than you, like, you can't top me, like, this whole undefeated streak. Like, I like that aspect of it. But when you shoot the same promo week after week and you say the same stuff, It kind of gets repetitive to me. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I stopped watching certain wrestling programs. I'm not going to say who, but I'll still keep up with them. But because it's the same thing every week, it's the same promos every week, and it's the same thing with her. She maybe defends that title every now and then, like it's the TBS title, and it's hardly defended on TBS. like I know she's got this old baddie group now, and it's like, if you want to get to me, you got to get through my baddies. And it seems like that's the wash, rinse, repeat kind of step they're doing. Yeah. So, but I respect Jade as what she's doing with what she's doing. It's the character she was giving. It's the character she's got to do, so it's nothing against her at all. So, but I think it could be washed up a little bit. Like you said, like some of her in-ring technique can be kind of dangerous, she's taking risks, but at the same time, I see a lot of that from a lot of certain wrestlers. It's like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't put that in your repertoire of moves because you're going to hurt yourself or your coworker. So
I'm really afraid for Jeff Hardy next week.
Yeah.
Now, he's been banged up ever since his match. Well, from what I've heard, ever since the Darby Allin match, he's really been banged up after that. He hasn't been the same since.
Yeah.
And he had a grueling match against Adam Cole. He had a grueling match at Double or Nothing, and he was knocked out. Apparently, doesn't remember the match.
Right.
Even though he finished the match.
Yes.
I'm really scared for Jeff Hardy. This could be his last match.
I am too. Yeah. This is definitely his last run. Him and Matt, I think, are both. Yeah. Their run is done after this whole whatever they got with AEW. So
Jeff Hardy needs to. I don't know how he's going still.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, they're going to make it to the finish line.
There you go.
But yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the Dynamite review. Now for the Rampage ramp up for tomorrow night. Their matches, I said they got a pretty good lineup. They got Eddie Kingston versus Jake Hager. Mm-hmm. Jake Hager's finally back in singles action. FTR and Trent versus Will Ospreay, and the two other guys he's with is a tag team, the Aussie Open.
Yes, that's who that was. Yeah, the Aussie Open. That's the other the tag team that's part of the United Empire.
I don't know their names, but that's their team name, the Aussie Open. Then Jay Lethal and Sama Singh is in action. We're going to get to see Sama Singh in the ring. Curious to see who he's going against because that dude's huge. Like, he's probably the tallest person in AEW now. I like to see him in Paul White, like toe-to-toe, to see he's taller. I'm curious to see that. Then we have another rematch. I don't know why we're seeing this again, but Chris Statlander versus Red Velvet. But yeah, I think it's between I'm actually very interested in all the matches. Kingston and Hager, Will Ospreay in action AEW, and some of the things in action.
Aussie Open, their names are Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. All the guys that are Aussie Open. But yeah, no, that card does look that card does look good for Rampage tomorrow. I'm definitely excited for FTR and Trent versus Ospreay and Aussie Open. I think that's going to be a really good match. The Chris Statlander and Red Velvet, there's got a story there because they used to be partners, and now Velvet is part of the baddies, which another thing that I'm just like, okay. But yeah, no. So you got that. I think it's a good push for Chris Statlander. Because I mean, if you remember last Friday on Rampage, it was Athena versus Red Velvet, I think, correct?
I think it was Kiera Hogan.
Hogan.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, you're right. It was Kiera Hogan, and Athena won. So now if you get Chris Statlander winning against Red Velvet, now you got two people that have already beat baddie members for Jade Cargill. Yeah. So, I mean, with that, you get maybe another matchup of Anna Jay, who's been pretty much lining herself with Athena and Chris Statlander. You get her winning a match against one of them. Now you got three women coming after Jade. Like, maybe they are setting up a fatal four-way at all.
Like
I mean, that would be good with those four girls with Jade, Athena, Anna Jay, and Chris, I think that would be a good 4-way for the TBS title. Obviously Athena being new, but Anna Jay has been impressing me. She impressed me in that street fight.
Yeah.
And I thought she's been very quiet, and they haven't been really pushing her much, except for that match against Jade at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be an interesting setup if they set up a fatal 4-way at All Out, everything like that. And then the other match, Eddie Kingston, Jake Hager. I love that they're continuing that story. The Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston and his group just being pissed off at them. And honestly, I think Eddie Kingston, every week that man gets on the mic, he's underrated. The man can speak. He doesn't even need a script. You let Eddie Kingston go off, he can run a promo like no other. It's like old ECW days of people just backstage going, "Here's my promo. I ain't gonna write it. This is my promo."
He would have worked perfect.
And it's what Eddie Kingston does.
He would have worked perfect in the ECW, the original ECW, not the WWE, the original. He would work perfect with Raven or Terry Funk, or he would work perfect in that.
I mean, him and Mikey Whipwreck would have great matches. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I loved watching Mikey Whipwreck matches. And I think Eddie Kingston, if he was back in those kind of days, the early ECW days in the 90s and early 2000s, he would have had a ball with all those guys on that roster. And his promos would just been bar none. They'd be like the ones he shoots today. And obviously, Jake Hager, the man is a beast. Natural athlete. And I love watching his matches. So, I mean, I think that's I think with Rampage tomorrow, you got some solid lineup of matches, Yeah.
I'm glad to see Jake Hager back in action because, I mean, he's mainly in 6-man tags or 5-on-5, or he's been in a few singles matches with Wardlow and a few others, but I'm glad to see him back in action by himself. But it looks like a pretty good Rampage card tomorrow. Normally, Carly likes to do a rumor mill at the end of this, but I can't think of any rumors.
I mean, there for a few that I've read, because again, I try to stay off the sheets as much as possible, but I get on the dirt sheets regardless, even though I shouldn't go in that rabbit hole. Yeah. A rumor I was hearing was that going back to the whole story of the whole Hangman and Okada, the rumor mill was that match is not happening and Hangman won't actually be around anywhere near an Okada match. That we've already touched on that. And then I'm trying to remember if there's any other rumors that I've heard going around AEW. I mean, obviously we got to talk about it, but because I know you guys probably talk about it a bit, but MJF, that's going to go around the rumor mill for weeks, months, whatever. Rumor is that the whole MJF thing, I guess another thing that I read was that Warner Brothers were not expecting the pipe bomb that he dropped on that episode of Dynamite that he did. I mean, with the removal of all his stuff, it's at the point where nobody knows where it's real or fake, if it's kayfabe or it's at work or if it's real.
I heard a lot of wrestlers, they didn't see names, but a lot of wrestlers in AEW don't know what's going on. Like, even Jake the Snake said that he has no clue what's going on. Like, is this real? Is this a work? It's kind of like the WCW, Hall and Nash, the NWO. I know that was a different time area, but similar to that. But yeah, I'm curious to see what's happening because they haven't talked about it not once.
Not once. They haven't brought it up. I don't know if it's
commentary. Tony Khan, he was asked about it. He didn't comment about it.
Although there has been rumors that the Friday before and then that following Wednesday, MJF and Tony Khan did have a meeting with each other, or sometime like that. I guess the first meeting didn't go well. Second meeting, nobody knows. But that's why he appeared on Dynamite the way he did. And I guess the rumor mill was his promo wasn't supposed to go that long on Dynamite. I think it was like a 8 to 9 minute promo, and it was only supposed to go like 5 or 6 minutes. and he was supposed to just touch base on a lot of things. But obviously he didn't. He went over a little bit. I don't know if it was just between him and Tony planning this out. I mean, you could think about it. I mean, there could be rumors galore. Here's that biggest rumor. Is it a work or is it real? And the biggest rumor is the only two people that know are him and Tony Khan. Like that's why I feel like if I had $1 million in my hands right now, I would pay Tony Khan to come on this show and be like, Tony, please talk to us. Please tell us this is just between you and MJF, and this is the best work ever, like the biggest work.
Because eventually they're gonna have to say something. Because
they have to.
They're gonna have to, like, if he's not with the company, they're gonna have to say it. But they haven't said it,
right?
So
I think that promo was just, oh my god.
And I don't think Tony would have sent him out there.
No, and that's what I'm saying is.
Yep.
That's the thing is it has to be a work because Tony would not give him that blessing.
No,
at all.
No way.
Because MJF was like, "Are you sure with this?" And Tony would have to be like, "Yeah, do it." And it's got to be the biggest work in pro wrestling right now.
It's kind of similar, but Vince McMahon wanted Paul Heyman to cut a promo on him. That's when they were doing the ECW invasion thing, and Vince McMahon, you may know what I'm talking about. Vince McMahon said, "I don't care what you talk about, just blast me." Then Paul Heyman said, "You really, are you sure you don't want to know what I'm going to say? Because it's really going to be groundbreaking."
I mean, you look at One Night Stand in 2005 when they had the Invaders, and Paul Heyman just shot off on all of them, and it was the greatest thing. And those guys there were like, what knew they were going to be there, they were like, Paul, just go off on us, man. We're the bad guys here. We're invading your show. Just say whatever you want to us. It had to be okayed. Otherwise, there'd be honest heat there. And so that's why I feel like this is the biggest work right now going on in pro wrestling is this MJF AEW situation. And is it a work? I think it is. I think it's the biggest and best work ever. Like, people are talking about, like, oh, Cody, like, maybe leaving, going to WWE. It's a work. I'm like, I don't know if it is. He may be leaving. He was talking about his contract. Same thing with MJF. His contract's not up until 2023, 2024.
24, I believe.
24. He's got 2 years left. Most contracts, if you try to get out of them too quickly, there's going to be lawsuits. Like, you are contracted. Trust me, there's contracts for a reason. And it sucks because they had the contracts. But that's why he pushed it. He's like, fire me, you effing mark. That got me. When he called him a mark, I laughed. I'm like, Tony had to tell him to call him a mark.
Because fans think of him that way.
Because fans think of him that way. And I'm going to say this right now, and I hope people understand. I hate fans. I hate wrestling fans because they are so... They're so angry. They are so like bickering. Like, if you watch WWE, cool, all power to you. If you watch AEW, fine, all power to you. But dude, stop being mean to each other. Stop being mean to the pro wrestlers. It's not their fault. Like, stop.
Like, I'll go on some AEW groups and I'll just put my opinion in. Man, like, people are angry at me. Like they'll make fun of me on my profile picture. They'll dig into all my photos, my personal information. I've had that before. It's crazy. Like, clearly you can have opinion.
No, it's anywhere, but also just pro wrestling fan base is the most vile group. I mean, I've read articles about pro wrestlers mentioning that too, saying, we love our fans, but also there are certain fans that are just vile. And it's unfair, and it's unfair to them. They're human beings just like us, and they're doing dangerous stuff every day. I mean, they're putting their bodies at risk in that ring. So, I mean, that's my saying. But, that goes back to that promo of, where MJF said, "Where were you guys when I needed you?" It's just like, he's right though. It's just, but at the same time, regarding that, push back that. But honestly, the direction going right now with AEW gearing up for Forbidden Door, and then their next pay-per-view, All Out, I'm stoked to see what's happening next. Also, I'm very excited to see the segment with my boy Danhausen and Hook.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them talk tomorrow night and everything like that. So I mean, it's going to be a good Rampage. So
Yeah. Yes, it's looking like a very good Rampage. I definitely recommend watching it for the live viewers. With Osprey, and Summer Singh, I'm really curious to see what he wears out there. Is he wear a suit, or I'm really curious how that's all going to play out. But yeah, I definitely recommend watching Rampage for all the live viewers. But yeah, that sums up the Dynamite Review Rampage and what little bit of rumors were out there. We'll be back tomorrow for Rampage. Of course, they're back at regular start time. Thank God for being able to 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m. I'm so glad it's back on regular start time. And then Monday we'll do our special. We'll do it all over again next week. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for Rampage.
peace out.